And the Chiefs respond with the big hits of their own.
Now,
Good Chiefs support in the stadium today.
let's go! News, views, and behind-the-scenes chats from Sandy Park. This is the Exeter Chiefs podcast with Rhino and Bentos.
Hi, this is Stino.
Hi, I'm Jeff Parlin.
Hi, this is Jack Yendall.
Hi, I'm Jack Noel. You're listening to the Exeter Chiefs podcast.
Welcome to the Exeter Chiefs podcast. This time slightly different. We're not in the studio. We're sat in the dugout, and we have no Bentos because he's working. So you've got Rhino. Today you've also got Baz from Chiefs TV and Chubby, the man who is normally on the mic here at Sandy Park. So let's kick off straight into today's game. How are you feeling, Chubby? And what was the atmosphere like in the dugout whilst you were working?
It was absolutely intense. It was an incredible game. And it's really weird how these things sort of slip by when you've got loads of different things going on. But then looking back, that second half, they didn't score a point. They only scored 3 in the entire game, and that is such a quality Wasps outfit. You know, they've got Rob Miller there on the bench who came on twice. To have actually bossed it to that level with that heavy defence, I mean, they were so tireless the way they kept on getting back to their feet, pushing them back from the gain line, and yeah, Wasps were losing yards at every phase of play. It was amazing.
Do you think that the week off that Chiefs have had has helped them today?
On evidence that was there today, I would say yes, definitely. I think Wasps are carrying that extra game that they had heavy in their legs, and the second half, it was a pretty dispiriting performance if you're a Wasps fan. From a Chiefs fan perspective, it's very encouraging.
Baz, I want to hear your views in a second on the aggression from Chiefs today, the whole kicking for the line out and not taking the kick at goal. Firstly, let's hear from Luke Cowan-Dickie.
We know they're effective side. They've got a lot of sort of quick runners and guys with good feet, so nice people is real key, and especially coming up on the edges. The likes of Christian Wade scores a load of tries, so we knew if we got them early, contained it early, we'd be fine. They're dangerous, especially when you think you have them. They knock the ball on, or we knock the ball on. There's a bit of a broken defensive line. We know they're dangerous there, so I think today, we stuck obviously to our systems and kept on getting off the line and putting in good shots.
This is the Exeter Chiefs podcast.
Baz, what do you make of the aggression of the Chiefs today?
I think the Chiefs, Rob Baxter was asked a question, was this a reaction to the European quarter-finals? And his answer was probably the same as mine would be, in the fact that it's bound to be to an extent because we were so wounded and so hurt by that. I think what caught most people out was the fact, yes, you'd expect the Chiefs to be up for it and very aggressive. The Wasps seemed to be up for it for about the first 15-20 minutes, and you could actually see their body language deteriorate through the match, and particularly in the second half. And momentum builds momentum in both ways, and the Chiefs went from strength to strength. It's just rather unfortunate that we never got that fourth try, because there were several opportunities. We had 2 disallowed, as you know, but the Chiefs were definitely up for it. And I think, from the Wasps' point of view, we know ourselves, you can't be at your peak of your game every match. Yes, you win everything. And I think definitely the Wasps suffered perhaps a little bit from the European quarterfinals last week. But on saying that, they've got a lot of very high-value players. They've got a big squad. So Di Young doesn't use that as an excuse. I just think the Chiefs are more up for it. They had something to prove to the fans after the loss to Gloucester, and they proved it probably more than they could even have hoped to themselves with 24-3.
And I think also reinforcing how important the home semi-final is going to be, Chubby. And of course you'll get to host that, so there's a vested interest.
Fingers crossed, keeping everything crossed. I had my lucky socks and my lucky pants on today, so it did work. But yeah, I think when the boys play well and give the crowd something to get behind, the volume goes up, the intensity goes up. It is a real cauldron out there, and I think something that as a fan you don't realise is just how sound travels onto the pitch. The boys can hear those cheers and it really motivates them, and I don't get on the mic and remind people to start chanting.
This isn't Wasps.
Exactly, yeah. I couldn't possibly comment. But Stino's there, sort of cheerleading and bringing people up. But equally, I mean, in that last 20 minutes, when the intensity really hotted up again, the noise was phenomenal.
And talking to Stino, one thing I noted down in my notes, the work rate from him today, once again, absolutely phenomenal. I think there was a massive sprint at one point when it looked like the ball was dead, but he was just going just in case. I mean, this guy is everywhere, isn't he, Baz?
Oh, he was amazing today. He was captain. So he's having to do the liaison with the team and with the players. He got his kicks. I think he just missed one very slightly, but no, he made all the right decisions. And I can remember I was a season ticket holder at the Pirates when he played down there. And you think, how old is this bloke? He must be about 50 with the career he's had, and he's coming to his better years now, isn't he?
As he pointed out when he came in for a chat with me and Bentos, he was chubby Stino then, and he liked crisps at night in bed.
Well, let's say he's certainly got a history behind him, hasn't he? But one thing I think, standing on the pitch, I agree with Chubby that when you're in the stands, the noise is loud, but when you're actually on the pitch, it actually makes your ribs vibrate. But you could see the Wasps knew it was the sort of worst day for them as soon as they ran onto the pitch, because they were announced as London Wasps.
Yeah. Do you want to explain that, James?
A complete brain freeze. As any season ticket holder knows, I have many such brain freezes.
I'd like to point out we were talking about this about 5 seconds before they came out. Wasps is a very short word, and they need another one, so he just took the initiative and decided to use their old name.
I was going to go Coventry Wasps, but then I thought that might be a little bit political as well. But there's many bloopers that I drop into announcing through a game, so I pretty much dropped a clanger there.
Well, let's quickly hear from Di Young, and no, we didn't ask him about this.
That's a disappointment for me today, really, is we didn't cause Exeter defence enough stress, and we didn't challenge them enough. In the last 2 or 3 weeks, our attack has been dominated by the opposition defence. You look at Exeter, the qualifiers took us 60 minutes to get going there last week and this week, really. So we need to find a few answers in attack, really, mix it up a little bit, which we can do. We've got the players to do it.
News, views, and behind-the-scenes chat from Sandy Park. This is the Exeter Chiefs podcast.
Next week, then, we're obviously chasing this home semi-final then. Where do you think the boys' heads are going to be at for Quins, Baz?
Well, they know now that everything's in their control. You assume, nothing against London Irish, but you'd assume that Wasps would win that match, so it's all down to the Chiefs. You could argue in some ways that Quins haven't got much to play for now, so it should be an easy match. But then Gloucester didn't have much to play for either, and they beat us. And you could argue also that because Quins haven't got much to play for, they can throw the ball around, they've got nothing to lose. So it will be a crucial match, but the players will be fully aware, I'm sure, that if they beat Quins, they get a far more favourable fixture for the semi-final. A home semi-final at Sandy Park after 6 years in the Premiership would absolutely be awesome.
Less serious stuff. Who else is struggling to recognise Jim Short on the pitch?
I often announced James Short scoring a try when it was Ollie Woodburn at the beginning of the season. I kept on making that mistake. So I was actually really pleased when he grew a beard and actually allowed me to distinguish between the two of them. But I think he looks better without. He's very dashing, and it gives him just that slight extra edge of gas. So for me, keep the freshly shorn look, and Shorty, keep it short.
Before we wrap up and hear from the fans, let's hear from Ewers, who had an outstanding game today.
Obviously, it'll be our first time in the semis, so we've got to take it for what it is. Really, it'll be a massive game for both teams, and they're not going to. Well, they won't look back at this game with it meaning anything. Obviously they've beaten us, we've beaten them. It's amazing playing here in front of the crowd here at Sandy Park, and hopefully we can get a result against Quins, and however the table looks at the end of it, hopefully be in our favour.
Before we wrap up and hear from some of the fans, let's talk a bit more about the atmosphere here at Sandy Park. You can still hear it. People here enjoying the match. The guys had their lap of honour because it's officially the last home game of the season unless we get this home semi. How were the boys after the game as you were following them around the pitch, James? What sorts of things are they saying to each other?
I mean, it was very similar as they were saying publicly on the mic. They're feeling very up for it, and I think they back themselves physically, but also the strength and conditioning team here need to stand up and take a bow, because these guys are just the fittest outfit in the Premiership, and they go for the full 80 minutes. And you can see that because opposition tries to slow the game down, and certainly whenever the guys see that, it gives them heart, because these are, we want teams to be coming here and not wanting to play rugby. So I just think their fitness is phenomenal.
Well, and let's talk about the guy who's just rocked up beside us. Jack Knowles, 72 minutes, right across to the wing, straight in. Phenomenal once again.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they've just gone and done another 80 minutes, going around the pitch, talking to every single fan that stayed on to say hello, to get an autograph. I mean, they do a phenomenal work rate.
And that concludes another Exeter Chiefs podcast. And if you want to feed your views through to us, do tweet with the hashtag Exeter Chiefs podcast. Now time to hear from the fans, and me and Bentos will be back in the studio within the next couple of weeks, hopefully talking about a home semi-final.
It was fantastic, brilliant. Played out of their skins. It would have been great to get a fourth try and a bonus point, but hey, more than happy with that. And such a turnaround from 3 weeks ago when we returned from Rico, so disappointed.
Both teams had quite a lot of attack in the first half, but the defences were pretty imperious. But then I think in the second half it kind of showed Chiefs opened up a bit and then got some well-earned tries. I was a bit disappointed they didn't give that try with James Short, but yeah, no, it's a good game.
I'm really happy, really excited. It's an amazing atmosphere. We're not from Exeter, we came down for the weekend, and yeah, it's a really good game.
Forwards were epic, standout moments, Cowan-Dickie around the park was amazing. Ollie Woodburn finishing off tries.
I think we generally dominated the physical battle up front, and they couldn't get any go forward ball from there, which is what Wasps usually rely on because they've got such dangerous backs.
Your behind the scenes access to Sandy Park with Rhino and Bentos. The Exeter Chiefs podcast.